Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich as Turkey. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So the Kaiserreichs have now taken power in Turkey. And we'll get our way down the permanent revolution. Hopefully, by the time we actually get there, France will still exist, or at least the International in some way will exist. Because I will say right now, it's not looking too good. I mean, Russia's doing kind of okay. They might kill the Baltic Duchy soon. Maybe they'll kill Belarus. I don't know. I mean, the Nubian Federation it's not doing that well. So maybe we might see the Nubian Federation collapse. That'd be nice. I don't know if it'll happen, but it will be nice. Under physical political power. Can't get anything war economy. Can't get more manpower right now. Any good high command? Enemy air support minus 5%. I mean, who are we going to be? You know what? Yes, I will take you. We're going to take you because I know as Turkey, we're not going to have a large air force. Most countries we'll eventually go to war with are going to have bigger air forces than us. So I think this kind of just makes sense. I mean, Romania is doing pretty well. Improved light tank chassis. What do I need to do with the tanks? Are we building tanks? No, we're not. We don't have like that many military factories. We're starting to get all of the infrastructure up for their traditional resistance, which I guess now doesn't really matter anymore, because I mean we did kind of cheat a little bit, right? Because in order to force the event, because otherwise this wouldn't have been able to happen. What is this symbol? What is that? Is that like a piece of paper on a bear's face? What am I looking? I don't know what that picture is, but we'll create an agency. Why not? With our technologies. 1941, you know, excavation 4. Might as well get it done, right? It's a nice to have for sure. I mean, what do we actually produce in Turkey? I don't remember. A lot of chromium. Like a stupid amount of chromium. And who are we trading this off to? Are we trading it to actually anybody? No, we're actually not. No one's actually importing our chromium. We just have a lot of it. The hardworking men of Turkey. With Mehmet Resh Pasha now leading our nation, he has decided that it's about time to visit diligent and hardworking men of Turkey. Is that the right person here? Yes, okay. Right after taking offers, he embarks on a journey through Anatolia, visiting many villages and speaking with the locals in order to get an idea of the situation in the hands of the rural areas, and to ensure that the working population knows they're not alone in their struggles. What he saw shocked him deeply. Many of the pure souls scattered throughout Anatolia have to work all day long, only to receive nothing but breadline wages. They're forced to live in relative poverty, while people living in the cities enjoy a prosperous lifestyle. And after his tour was over, Mehmet Resh Pasha was more convinced than ever that something needed to be done. Today, he gave a speech in front of the government palace in Ankara. In it, he applauded the Turkish workers, thanking them for their service and ensuring that he'll do everything in his power to improve their living situation. Furthermore, he emphasized the necessity of a classless society, one in which people can live in equality and prosperity without being hindered by the developments by their social status. Throughout the country, the people believe their cries have finally been heard. They hope that Mehmet Pasha's intentions are as pure as his fine words made him out to be. They're slowly but surely regaining their trust in the government. Finally, they're beginning to see the light in the darkness that has become their lives. Thank you for the 5% stability. I apologize that your lives in Turkey, for the most part, are kind of like awful. Actually, do we still have our... No, I don't think we have any, like, our big negative penalties. I mean, we still have traditional resistance, which right now is insignificant. But that's not so bad. Eastern Sea Wars. I mean, that's good for us, because, again, we are opposed to the Germans. I think France is holding on a little bit better than they were. Maybe they've even pushed the Germans back a little bit, but that might just be wishful thinking on my part. Maybe they haven't done actually anything. But I believe in the French cause, and I'm sure they can beat the Germans. Kind of. Although Belarus is actually pushing away pretty far into Russia, which actually, if I was Belarus, I think they're probably overextending themselves a little bit. I don't know how many German units they actually have in Russia, but I think they might be spreading themselves a little bit too thin. It's kind of hard to say, because the Baltic Duchy, I think as soon as they lose Riga, they should collapse at that point. Chief of Army Defense Planning, 10% defense. Training time's kind of garbage. You know what? Give me a maneuver. Just have my units move faster. I think it'll definitely be useful in the future. A busy day in Paris. Yesterday morning, Recep Peker and Svet Siren Ademir took a flight to Paris in order to see how good life in the commune really was. You sure about that? You really sure you want to fly to Paris in this situation? After arriving at the airport, they were greeted by Jacques Dorette himself and performing some formalities. They took a tour of the city, visiting its greatest sights. They dropped by the famous Eiffel Tower and even climbed up to the second level to get an overview of the entire city. Peker and Ademir described it as a phenomenal experience, and the city itself as thoroughly beautiful. After spending some time in Notre Dame and catching a glimpse of the Palace de la Concorde and the Arc de Triomphe, Jacques Dorette invited them to an official state dinner, in which traditional French dishes like cassoulet, chicken confit, and liaison salad were served, much to the delight of the two guests of honor. After the dinner, Ademir and Peker used the remaining hours to visit the Communal Parliament, the Bourse General du Travail. Their French politicians congratulate them on the achievements they have reached thus far, gave them some good advice on how to improve the nation of Turkey even more. After some interesting conversations, Peker had a short speech in front of Parliament, praising the present politicians for the utopia they've created and wishing them and their nation peace and prosperity. Once the speech, which was answered by thunderous applause, concluded, the day was nearing its end, and it was time for Peker and Ademir to take their flight back to Ankara. They wished the French a final farewell and soon found themselves back in Turkey, where they realized just how much will be needed done until Turkey will become a jewel as shining as the Commune of France. So 5% more support for totalism, 15 more political power. Again, at this point, I probably would not go to Paris. Probably go to Marseille or Bordeaux. Probably not Lyon. I think they're maybe a little bit too close to the front line. Either way, would not want to go to Paris. It's probably pretty much bombed out at this point, I'd have to imagine. We've got our... I still do not know what this picture is. Okay. Let's go anti-partisan first. I don't know if we really have any partisans in the country. But if we end up expanding into the Middle East, we'll definitely encounter some problems there. Next up, the Crowderist movement. The main goals of the Crowderist movement are to dissolve the influence of the Western powers on the political and economic sphere of Turkey, yet to imitate their development in the sense of Turkey's identity and a classless society, with the state as responsible for production and distribution. So to get defensive war penalties or bonuses, total populism support for both Dasher Populism and the Totalist. Okay. And we can join the International. Earl Browder's been named president. So we got Earl Browder and Charles Linza McNary. I mean, at some point, you two will once again go back to war with each other. Like, you can't join the International. Yeah, you actually can't join the International until the Pacific states are dead. Which they should do at some point. I just don't know exactly when. Okay, so Ireland is kind of on a two-front war between the British and the Northern Irish. Like, what's going on in Belarus? Like, are they... Is Russia doing okay? I mean, if Russia can take Riga, which they might be able to do... I mean, they landed units here, so I'm assuming they are trying to naval invade Riga. I don't really know. Again, we want Russia to do well, so that they can alleviate pressure off of the French, who they now have actually pushed completely out of Belgium. Okay, Vietnam has collapsed, I'm assuming against Siam, fair enough. Germany's Asia is not that. They actually lost Singapore, which is pretty surprising. Germany's Asia is usually pretty, you know, powerful. Not powerful. They're pretty good at defending Singapore, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm surprised they ended up losing the city. What do we get here? Traditional resistance goes down. Stability goes up. I wouldn't mind a stability bonus. You create a lot of popularity for a lot of parties that I don't have interest in boosting. Okay, the Baltic Duchy has been killed off. I think very soon Belarus is not going to be living too much. Yeah, we can go up to free trade. I'm going to go up to free trade primarily because, hey, we mostly just make chromium. So why would I need to worry about anything else? We can send you to Albania. You know what? Wait, is Albania... No, they're in the Moscow Accord. So I have no reason to spy on them. We'll spy on Vienna. They probably deserve it. So we will send our spies over to you. Mostly because I think Danube is probably going to be our main adversary. Like, once we're actually in the International, once we're actually at war with the Reichspakt, we'll probably send our units through and support the Serbian-Romanian front against Vienna. Because we can kill Danubia. We have a border directly with the German Empire in the south. The Italian Republic is not actually in the Reichspakt. So, Moscow forces are not actually going to try to invade Italy from the north. You're refining. You know what? Take it. Two Sicilies has actually invaded Greece in the south. Okay, Triple-Otani is not going to be lasting too much longer. Okay, next up, the Turkish man myth. The Cadro paper and its desire to unify the Turkish people, sometimes unaware of their unity, create a model Turkish man. Some people think this meant because Mustafa Kemal or even Mehmet Recep Paker. In any case, the notion of the Turkish man is by definition the physical power for work and war, but also the intellectual power, will, and determination of the Turkish people. 5% factory output. Absolutely, I'll take it. France has declared war on the Ivory Coast. And you know what that means? It's good. I'm going to do the same thing I've done every single time so far, which is mark you, and you will just join the Cairo Pact. Because again, I think it makes sense. Like, Triple-Otani doesn't make sense for them to join the Cairo Pact because they are lining themselves up with the International. But really, for everyone else, I think it does make sense, right? I'm not making that up. I don't think so, at least. Yeah, the North-Zili clique will probably see the Qing end up unifying China before they end up going to war with the Fenton government, and then by extension the Japanese. How do I feel about that? Well, again, we have Japan mostly fighting against... I mean, I guess Australia is also at war with the International over here, aren't they? Or Australia's at war with the Germany's Asia. So Germany's Asia finds himself to be in a bit of an awkward situation for sure. But I think we're still backing the Japanese to oppose the Reichspakt, right? Some good old-fashioned realpolitik. So join the Third International. We can't do this until... Actually, only if France is actually alive. Well, I mean, France is not a faction leader. So, I mean, if France dies, then I guess we can't actually join the International. Oh, Italy joined the Reichspakt. Okay, I mean, that's understandable. Yeah, break the ciphers against the Danubian Federation. I think that just makes sense for us. 22 days on you. I'm still very concerned about the situation in Western Europe. Like, I think in the long run... I don't know, actually. What do I think in the long run? I mean, I think Russia's losing now. Romania's doing pretty well. Serbia's doing pretty well. Again, I think we do need to send troops into the Balkans. Like, that's going to be our main front. Am I worried about naval invasions? Like, who would navally invade me? I mean, the Reichspakt, obviously. Or the Entente. Like, how many units do we have right now? 39 out of 38. Not a ton. Turkish solidarism. More support for national populism. Legation cities join the Reichspakt. That just means that the Japanese are going to invade legation cities. Add a class of society. Monthly population 20%. 10% more stability. We'd be happy to get that. Which one do we want first? Probably 10% stability. I mean, we need all of these eventually anyway, so it's not like it makes a huge difference in the order. I mean, Serbia... I'm surprised how well the Balkan states are doing. I was really expecting them to do way worse. Speaking of a class of society, in reality, the only structural difference in the Turkish population is where they live, which greatly affects their aspirations, income, and living conditions. They separate the urban and rural class, the latter being greatly divided. However, they call for the establishment of reforms to improve life in the countryside and achieve equality between the two populations. Yeah, but that's basically a 10% stability boost, which I'm very happy to see. If Russia can kill Lithuania, which I think should be a top priority for the Russians right now, kill Lithuania, they can maybe like encircle Belarus. Okay, so you got a massive... Who's invading? Do you think this is a German front, or do you think this is a Russian front? Okay, no, it's definitely the Reichspakt pushing their way into the Moscow Accord. They're not really pushing away into France right now. They're primarily trying to push against the Russians, which is understandable. I will say, I think for right now, Russia is Germany's biggest opposition. Dublin has collapsed. Ireland has fallen. Okay, so now the British, we might see them navally invade somewhere in Germany. I think it's very important that they actually get that done. We need any of this stuff? I mean, again, we still have the reforms. I mean, 10% stability for... I mean, that's a lot of party popularity going away from us, right? It's a pretty decent chunk. It's all loyalist. Population goes up. What's our biggest state? 500,000, 500,000, 1 million. We got 1.5 here. I guess probably Bursra. Let's install some loyalists in Bursra. Give us a 15% recruit population. Not that we really need the population recruitment right now. But in the future, we'll eventually want to deploy more units. Like, we can get ourselves up to war economy. Should I maybe build... You know what? Don't even build this many infrastructures. If anything, we probably actually need to start militarizing rapidly. Even though our economy sucks. Like, we have, like, no industry at all. Okay, the Swiss are almost dead. The SRI still somewhat kicking in. You know, Communist France are actually starting to make a bit of a comeback here. Very, very happy to see that. I don't know if Portugal hasn't died. I think if Portugal's were to be killed, we might see a lot of units be able to move their way back up to the German front. But now Switzerland is dead. Which is pretty bad because it's like a meat grinder for the German army to just constantly send wave after wave and wave of men into Switzerland. Also, the Russians are now losing quite a bit of ground, which is definitely a little scary for us. 11 units here. We probably don't need this many units on the border with Syria. To be quite honest with you, I don't think it's going to make a big difference for us one way or the other. Ground support, air reformer. What else do we have here? Armor specialist, screens, entrenchment. Probably entrenchment would be our best bet here. Military police 3. Turkish solidarism. The idea of Turkish solidarism is said to come from the society, or from the sociology of Emil Durkheim and his French solidarism. Regardless of its origin, it consists of a social accountability for each individual. A child is indebted to his peers for what they have given him, be that education, values, or knowledge. Thus, the counter movement bases its interpretation of society from a Marxist materialist point of view on the very principle of human relationship in order to advance to analyze history. But I think with that, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. Thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthem. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not joking. Always thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.